Ladies and gentlemen, it's been 10 hours and counting. When will this outage end? With the world losing patience, the CrowdStrike CEO is saying, sorry, but it will take time. That's the big piece of breaking news coming in. The question everyone wants answered, when will the outage end? Not anytime soon, because the CrowdStrike CEO, when asked, has said this will take time. He's saying that the systems have been fixed up and at their end, but it will take a while for everything to be back up and normal. Those are his exact words. So that's the situation as it stands right now. Let me go straight across to my guest who's joining me this evening. Arvind Gupta, you're the head of Digital India Foundation. You're joining us on the broadcast. It's been over 10 hours here in India. At 10 o'clock in the morning is when we noticed the outage here on Mirror Now. Before that, Australia had already started reporting it. Now the CEO who's responsible for the outage is telling us that this could take some more time. Just how much time? And is this the worst that you've seen? Or is it simply an indication of what is to come?
Well, Shreya, thank you for having me, number one. Two, I think we live in a world where we are over-dependent on a few providers, and Microsoft being one. While the CrowdStrike CEO has been made the face of this outage, Microsoft is to be equally blamed. They didn't test the fixes before deploying it on production servers globally. And, this is also shows the mentality of the West Coast big tech companies, that they kind of insulated themselves by doing this in a timing which was more when they had their own downtime on their side of the business world. And really, the rest of the world was just opening up. So, we've seen one of the largest global companies making such a big error, and it also shows that they themselves are not prepared. If whether it's an attack on their systems or a competitor coming and disabling their system. So, or it could be a rogue nation. So. It's a very, very grim situation. Microsoft and CrowdStrike within themselves hold a lot of liability. For a change, the airlines and the global reservation systems themselves not at fault. While your reports talked about Windows and the Windows PCs and local machines, this actually has taken down the cloud infrastructure of Azure, which is their biggest data center server. So. A lot of global services which run 24/7 on the Microsoft cloud have also stopped working. So it's I think it will be to be test of time when all these cloud service providers talk about resilience and data redundancy, where this has clearly shown that they are not prepared for an event like this. And lastly, I would say that
Okay.
It's a shame that we live in a technology world which is so interconnected, but none of these technology cloud providers, which are really three big ones, Google, Microsoft, and Amazon, they've become so large that globally, the countries like India have now done localization of data, and they resisted that, and they gave us all the reasons of resilience, and this has failed. And, we've been lucky enough that we localized our financial systems and financial data. And I just want to make a point that Aadhaar and UPI in India have continued to work because we are dependent on local infrastructure and not this global infrastructure. So kudos to our Indian infrastructure. And I see, as the minister has also said, NIC systems have worked fine. And this is where, having a more local approach to technology, where we have a lot of, as I said, data localization, local data centers, and local solutions will really help in the long run. Every country needs to really watch out for itself. Microsoft India will not be a priority, for example. They'll first have to fix their higher liability customers before coming to the Indian system. So, I think there is a larger issue at play. This will really spark, hopefully, a debate where how much of over dependence on this global big tech firms can be programmed or codified into the future, and how much of localization do we need?
you're talking about digital infrastructure monopoly. Fact is that the Microsoft operating system is on 73% of computers across this world. So that is the kind of dependency and monopolization that we are talking about. I just want to talk to you about CrowdStrike for a bit. Before this, me and many people who are watching this broadcast, Mr. Gupta, probably hadn't heard of CrowdStrike. But this is a company that has a stellar reputation in the sense that this is the company that on the request of the US government tracks North Korean hackers, Russian hackers. They are the ones who were called in when Sony Pictures systems were hacked. They are the ones who had first sounded out the fact that Russian hackers were actually trying to somehow rig the US elections, etc. My point is, technical glitch ho jata hai. It can happen. Does it take more than 10 hours to fix? Because the CrowdStrike CEO right now is saying sorry, but time lagega.
Yeah, I'm also surprised at that reaction. They should have been very apologetic. I think Microsoft has thrown them under the bus. CrowdStrike, on a lighter note, as I said, has become a cloud strike. It's a strike of the cloud in the first time that we have seen. And I think, a firm, one as big as Microsoft and two reputed firm, as you say, CrowdStrike, has not tested it on so many different systems across the world and not done a kind of a simulation before doing this is very surprising to me. In a technical jargon, going production without testing it on test servers is a very big sin, if I can use the word. So I'm very surprised. Their reputation will take a huge hit after this. And if not, I think the global community will ask Microsoft how and why they continue to use them. You have to also remember, Microsoft provides a lot of cloud services to the federal government in the US. And when the US wakes up, which it has, there'll be economic losses. A lot of companies in the US will face. The 73% of the Microsoft market share is bound to come down.
Okay, we leave it there for the moment, Mr. Arvind Gupta. It was good to have you on the show. Thank you very much for joining us with your perspective. Ladies